Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Newhart with Science Based Body, and this is the Economic Fitness Podcast channel. On this channel, we are going to provide you with ways to keep your body and mind in top peak physical condition in an environment of sedentary work environments. It is our perspective that blood flow is equal to cash flow. And if you cut off the blood flow, you cut off the cash flow. We hope you enjoy our information. Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Newhart, and this is the Economic Fitness Podcast or radio or television show channel. I have a great guest today, Mr. Larry DeWitt. He is the CEO of Vanco Medical and Rehabilitation. I love that, obviously, because rehabilitation, getting people back on their feet is huge. Larry, thank you for joining me here on the Economic Fitness Podcast today.
Great to be here.
So, we love to talk about, well, first off, I idolize guys that own businesses, and you've owned several businesses, I think. How many over your lifetime so far?
In one stage or another, about 6 businesses.
That's massively impressive, especially for me. I've done one so far, working on a second. And it's a company that distributes whole body vibration platforms into the medical space. So we can talk about that in a second. It might be right up your alley, actually.
Sounds interesting.
What would you, there's got to be something, dig back deep. What drove you to do 6 different businesses? What is it? You know what I mean? What was the driving?
Well, the very first company I started, I started it because I needed a job.
Okay, good.
I had no grand product idea. I had no grand service idea. I had a wife and a 5-month-old child, and I needed a job. So, that's the first company. And actually that company did last for about 27 years. So,
what was it, if you don't mind me asking?
We were in the sales and distribution of the telecommunications industry.
Okay.
So we work primarily with two-way radios and supplies.
Sure, wow, great.
So anyway, that company lasted for 27 years and is still around in a much smaller capacity now. But that was really the first one. Several things, generally it's sort of a diversification mindset when I began to start some of these different companies.
Sure.
What I learned really rapidly was start businesses when you got some idea what the industry is. Don't just try to pick something that you think would be a great idea.
Sure.
Because it didn't really work out for me. Maybe other people have had more success with it, but not I. From then on, it was we had a couple of very small companies that were in commercial real estate, primarily because we decided to buy the building that our sales and distribution company was in, so that we weren't paying rent, we were actually collecting rent. So that formed one of the other companies.
Sure.
And then in 2016, I really scaled back. I thought I was kind of headed for temporary retirement or a partial retirement, let's say. And within about 6 months, I was bored silly. So I began the search for another company, and again, pick things like healthcare because that's a very solid industry. It's not going to really take too many hits from the economy,
right.
And the growing demographic of people in this country. We see that area of physical therapy really continuing to grow. So with that in mind, we went ahead and in June of 2019, purchased Vanco Medical.
Okay. Well, I mean, congratulations on all your success. That's huge.
Yeah.
I have this idea, this feeling, and a lot of the people that I meet, we have some background in exercise. I found out earlier that you played high school football, or was it further than high school? Did you?
No, I did not go further than high school.
And if everybody at home was standing here with us and Larry and I stood up, he's about 4 inches taller than I, yet we played the same position somehow in high school, which I believe that if I was lined up across from you, you would just knock me silly based on your size alone. But I always find that people with some sort of athletic background they're able to push through the uncertainties and uncomfortable situations of starting businesses? Because I think, I mean, I could throw this out there and say it, but I'd rather ask this question. Do you feel like there was uncomfortable uncertainties while you were starting these 6 businesses?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think the athletics is a very good analogy, because I think people that are playing athletics, competitive athletics in particular, understand what kind of sacrifices need to be made in order to succeed at it, and those sacrifices are tough sometimes. It's not very easy.
Oh yeah.
And yes, like I said, I've had started 6 businesses, 3 left at this point, but all of them have required that stick-to-itiveness, and kind of overcoming that challenge.
Sure. And maybe it started with you at a young age.
Yeah, and as I said, I played football for the majority of the sports I played, and I played for a couple pretty tough coaches that really didn't put up with a lot. So yeah, we worked hard.
I think they were even harder on you guys back. I hear things about earlier years of football, the things that the athletes were put through.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to do forward rolls down the entire 100-yard field, of course, as if we did something wrong. So
yeah, our concussion protocol was 3 fingers.
There you go.
How many do I hold? How many am I holding up? So yeah.
So there must be some things that you've implemented in your life now that help you push through those same types of resistances that you'll feel while you're going through business. What kind of strategies do you have implemented in your life to keep mind and body sort of straight on the straight and narrow, or sane, or?
Yeah, it's physical exercise for me is probably the greatest outlet for excess energy or nerves or adrenaline or whatever you want to work with. And so I have tried to be on a relatively consistent, honestly, I mean, I'm not the most dedicated gym rat.
But that's okay, because just like we said, we use it when we need it, and that's fine too. I believe.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad.
Of course.
I'm glad that works. It works for me.
I'm not an over enthusiast. Hey man, you got to go run a marathon. I'm not really that kind of person. I say use this thing, don't throw it to the wayside. Right. Use it as needed.
Yeah, use it, and definitely do. I mean, I feel very much different after I've had a good workout. Of course. Some things are kind of limiting. I was telling you earlier, I had back in September, I had knee replacement surgery, partial knee replacement.
Sure.
So I've been on the sidelines for a little while and utilizing my own products and services,
of course,
to get back to normal. But today I went in and I forget what they call it, but I renewed my gym membership.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So which started today, which now I'm ready to kind of start getting back to the gym on a regular basis. Love to bike ride. I bought a bike this last August, I guess, and I haven't ridden a bike in, I don't know, 40 years maybe, and got on that and just had a ball. And I'm really enjoying that. So I try to get out and do some biking. We talked a little bit about meditation.
And I'm intrigued because I would like guidance, actually. I love the concept. And of course I can, sit in a dark room and everything, but how do you go about it?
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of meditation. Probably one of the best ways to get started with it is by going with guided meditations. Okay. Which I think apps like Headspace, Insight Timer, several of those apps, which have some really good 10 to 20 minute type sessions. Then there's other types that you can get involved with. I can't think of the actual name for it, but it's a type of meditation where you try to erase thoughts, try to suspend your thoughts. Which is, I find that one to be probably, it's the most challenging, but if I can get myself there, coming out of that session is like the world just is reset.
Let's clear some room, right?
Clear some room, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, and so, but it's a very interesting. There's lots of different takes on it, and you can get a lot of different information on it. But yeah, very definitely is an important part when I'm being disciplined and when I'm getting to it on a regular basis. My life is much more manageable.
It just seems as if there's always these techniques implemented in most people's lives. And I speak to people because I want to give them tips. The more people that I interview, especially CEOs, I mean, it's always CEOs, business owners, people that have high level jobs, in corporations. There's always some sort of a exercise, mental wellness plan implemented in their life. It kind of has to be there. And so somebody that it rung a bell because you said sitting on the sidelines. Somebody that's sitting on the sidelines and wishing, oh, I want to do this. Well, to me, it's the first step. Let's go ahead. Let's start going. If I were going to have to go to the gym, find an exercise that you like, and dabble in meditation. And then there's always the diet piece, of course.
Sure,
because
right.
We've looked at a brain that eats a ton of sugar and a brain that doesn't, and this brain that doesn't seems to be it has much better blood flow and things. So you can actually see it, and I've seen that before as well. And then an exercising body seems to work on just clearing it naturally, even if you're still consuming it. So, there's all that. But, implementing those programs, implementing that lifestyle type of thing for management, I think. Now, I do want to run something else by you before we sign off. I've spent, 17 years of my life was spent as a personal trainer, and I helped a lot of people, and I loved it. And so I've recently shifted away from that for a couple reasons. One, I own a fitness center now, and I want to let the trainers have the glory. I don't want to stand in their way, so I'm just sort of managing the facility. But I also wanted to help more people, and I was limited. Obviously, I am one person, and I can help 30 or 40 people at once. So I thought, what can I use to help more people? So the focus of my PhD dissertation was around whole body vibration, and we chose a very specific platform, which that's another episode of why we chose this platform, but it's an oscillatory device that goes up to 10 hertz. And I did 2 full studies on it and wrote a review of literature on whole body vibration, which was very interesting. Right? But it is up the alley of physical therapy, I believe. I had one of my studies was in sedentary people only, and they were all over the age of 40. One lady had 5 surgeries on her legs, hips, whatever, knees. And her report at the end of the 8 weeks of vibration was that it was the best therapy she thought she'd ever had. Now, of course, where were you going for therapy? Was it Larry's clinic? No way, because it's the best there. Obviously, we know that. But that, she said, minimal pain. I feel like I've got great range of motion. And the knee pain is actually going away. So the therapy didn't cause extra pain, and her knee pain was leaving, and she was feeling that I was watching her start to move better. So, what we discovered is it amplifies your body weight so that your muscles have to twitch pretty quick, but you're not putting yourself in any crazy positions. You're really just standing there or doing light squats, moving your body to make the vibration, stimulate a different muscle group so that you can still get muscle balance in the lower half. And so I wanted to run that by you and see what you thought about this, and if it would be if you feel like it's a logical tool to implement in a therapy type of setting, even for yourself. We're talking about your knee replacement, something that you don't have to do a lot, but it's going to make your muscles fire against your body weight. So now it's actually resistance training, and it's happening so quick that the muscles have to twitch really fast, so it can also increase reaction time, which is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'd like to learn some more about that. I know when I was just recently in therapy, and we sell these products as well. And by the way, we're a sales and distribution company. We don't actually treat patients.
Okay.
But as a treated patient, I had the electrical stimulation through the electrodes. Is it similar to?
So like TENS? Are you talking about like a TENS?
TENS, or I'm really not sure the term.
Well, through electrodes, that's where you've got a little box and you're hooked. they're putting electrodes on you, and it's delivering usually
Right.
from like 4 AA batteries. It's just exciting your nerves. This you're standing on, so it's a platform about this
Okay,
big.
so
You're
it's-
standing on it, and it's moving under you. You don't feel off balance, but at 10 hertz, it's going pretty fast. So you're balanced because it's hitting both sides pretty quick,
Okay.
but your muscles have to. They're firing.
You're firing.
Because the limb is going to forcefully bend eccentrically, and then that makes the muscle fire. The muscle spindle activates, the muscle has to fire. So like I said, it's your body weight amplified, so it acts as resistance training. I love it because the person doesn't have to do a lot of movement. Tens, of course, is a good one as well. How hard that makes the nerve fire, and then how hard that will make the muscle fire. Because I have messed with tens before too, quite a bit, taking some physical therapy courses in my PhD work, where I don't know if it's giving you the same type of stimulus, And this also is going to let the bones bend a little bit, so we can reform some bone as well. I think we could speed up bone healing in the therapy setting with it, actually, but that's to be tested.
Well, that's very interesting. And, as a CEO of a company that does work with physical therapy clinics, we're always interested in what new types of procedures that we can introduce to our clients.
It is billable also.
Yeah,
So that matters.
sure. Absolutely.
But Larry, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for all your insight. Thank you everybody out there for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Economic Fitness Show.